Hello, Warlords. Welcome to Saga Thursday. I'm your host, Rodge, as always. Today we have a special program for you all the way from Sweden. We got Swedish Fred here. How's it going, buddy?
I'm fine. And you?
Oh, I am excellent. We are making it happen.
Celebrating our National Day here.
Yeah.
My ribbon here.
So it is June 6th that we are recording. I don't know if I should divulge that because this might not come out for a while. Usually I keep it secret, but I do record ahead of time if anyone's curious about that. So Freddie is celebrating here. So is it party time after this for you?
Actually, I'm going to our clubhouse to finish some terrain.
Oh, nice!
For a tournament that we have next month.
Well, that sounds like a good day off for me.
Yeah.
Getting some hobby
There might
work.
be some beers, but no more than that.
No problem. So we're back with you to talk about Crusaders. Now, I think we talked with you about Crusaders in the first edition. So
that's right.
These are a warband close to your heart. You've been running them for some time. And in the second edition, how have they been treating you? Been fun?
They've been good. I like them more than in the first edition, actually.
Okay.
And the battle board is, it's better, I think.
Yeah. So in Crescent and Cross, I think they were kind of reaching for themes for the different war bands. You know, they'd already come out with 20 plus battle boards. You know, how do we keep it going? So as I recall, it was really like Hearthguard centric, about like a Death Star type unit. Yeah,
my build was all about Hearthguard. And I think the battle board in first edition was kind of gimmicky because you had to unlock the abilities. So you tended to have games where you didn't do much in the first few turns, and then in the late game you just send in the Death Star.
Yeah. So I don't see that stuff on this board, which I think is good. Anything that promotes slow play, like in the beginning, just really gets my goat.
Yeah, I agree.
Looks like we got a nice mix of abilities here. So let's jump into the warband construction because this is really cool, and I didn't even notice this until we started. But you have the Levantine Crusaders, which is the Crusaders that most folks think of, but we also have the Baltic Crusaders, which is really cool. And so they got slightly different options here, and I'll just go through those right now. So I think you told me that you've been playing the Baltic Crusaders for the most part.
Yeah, actually, my army transitioned kind of poorly from the first edition to the second edition, so I had to add some miniatures, and then I found out about the Baltic Crusaders, and they just got my interest because they're really fun. We'll get back into that soon. And also we have a history up here in Sweden as well. We had a couple of crusades during the medieval times that they sent into the east.
Oh, cool!
So,
we
have a historical
connection there for you guys. So, is there going to be a big difference in how the warband plays, depending on which one you choose? Do you feel?
I think for me, because if you play the Baltic Crusaders, you can't take any Pilgrims. And that kind of affects some of the abilities, because some of the abilities have like a dual effect depending on if you have Pilgrims or not.
Okay.
So if you go for the Levantine Crusaders, you'll probably have some Pilgrims in there. But if you take the Baltic ones, your Pilgrims becomes normal levies.
So
that's probably the biggest difference.
Okay. Well, let's dig into the options and some of the difference here. So Levantine, Warlords, and Hearthguards may be mounted on horses, equipped with heavy weapons, or just your playing guys. In the Baltic, they can be mounted on horses, equipped. Oh, looks like they're identical there. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. The Hearthguard is the same.
Okay. Going down to Warriors. Warriors can have nothing, bows, 1 unit of crossbows up to 8, and 1 unit mounted on horses. That's Levantine. And in the Baltic Crusades, there's no shooting options, basically. And you can have multiple troops mounted on horses.
Yeah.
So you're going to have some shooting options. Although some people don't like the shooting warriors out there. Are you in that camp?
That was one of the issues with my army from going from first to second, because I used to have 8 warriors with crossbows, and when I transitioned into this, when I chose the Baltic Crusaders, I had to do something with them, and I turned them into levies instead. Just added more models.
Yeah, and then so the levies I think are the biggest difference. So we have the Pilgrims, which you referenced previously. Yeah. Those are an 11 tie. They are unarmed, but have improvised projectiles, and their armor is 3 against both melee and shooting attacks. Yeah. Levies for the Baltic Crusaders must be armed with bows or crossbows.
Yep, that's the juicy part.
Yeah. So, I mean, just between those two, bows and crossbows sound good to me. So
yeah,
I don't know. The Pilgrims sound really bad. I guess what.
Yeah, I guess
they have.
If they depend on the abilities instead. That turns them into semi-warriors and stuff like that. So just straight out of the book, they're pretty bad. But if you play the battle board correct, then it will probably become like warriors. So you can have like a horde of warriors.
Okay. Yeah. So they definitely seem like they need saga abilities to get them going. So do they still? They're still the 1/3 aggression, right? The Pilgrims.
Yeah.
So so just everything being even, they're just worse than the Baltic levies.
Yeah, straight out of the book, they're worse.
They're worse, but we might have some other fun stuff here to soup these guys up. So okay, so that has set the scene, painted a scene. Are you still taking a lot of Hearthguard, or what's?
The core of the army is pretty much the same. So I have 4 points of Hearthguard, 2 points on foot with great weapons, and 2 points on horses. And I used to run the foot Hearthguard as 1 unit, but now in the second edition I play them as 2 4-man units instead, just for the saga activations. And also the abilities are not longer dependent on you having 4 or more models in your unit. Mm-hmm. Some of the abilities before said that you needed to have four guys alive to activate the ability. So if they shot one off and you were 3 guys, then you couldn't do anything that good with them.
Pushed it towards that big unit.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting. Some people, the 4-pack Hearthguard is pretty lean for some folks, but I guess it works for you.
So. Besides the Hearthguard, I have 1 point of warriors on foot and 1 point of levies with crossbows, of course.
Okay. Just one big unit also, for those guys?
For the levies, for the levies.
Okay.
So that's also why I chose to split up the Hearthguard on foot, because now I can sort of protect my flanks with 2 small 4-man units instead of having 1 big that I just send away. So I tend to play more like a defensive playstyle now.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into the battle board up top. Yeah. Looking pretty standard there. So I'm going to pop down to the first ability, which looks like it is a rare ability. We're kicking it
off with a rare.
Kicking it off without fear of being wounded. This is a melee ability, and you can reroll any defense dice you wish. Yeah. So if you want to let a couple wounds through, that's fine too.
It's really good for when you face those giant piles of attack dice.
So rerolls are always good. Rerolling defense dice is pretty awesome. Obviously, you could close ranks if you have the right troops there to create a really hell of a tough time for the opponent. I mean, statistically, you should block every attack if you close rank. We're going purely.
It's a great ability.
Close,
I can't say that I put dice on it all of the time, because I tend to like to have my rare on another one.
Okay.
But if I get 2 rares, then I'll put 1 here and just save it for that important melee.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's good for the mounted Hearthguard as well, of course, because you'll be more survivable when you go for the big fight.
True, yeah. If you cannot close ranks but need to hold,
No, but still need to hold,
this would be a good ability.
Or if you charge other Hearthguard with the Hearthguard cavalry, then you have a good chance of not losing as many guys as they will.
Mm-hmm. So, are there ways to get defense dice using the Saga abilities, or is it just combat bonus later on?
No, it's just combat bonus, yeah.
Okay. Well, it does stack nicely with the combat bonus,
Yeah.
You know, on some boards you won't use it ever, but if I'm going in an extra defense dice with this ability is pretty tantalizing.
Yeah. One thing to note though is that the Hearthguard with great weapons can't use it, so that's why I kind of don't play it that much, because they can't close ranks with great weapons.
Oh yeah. So
so I can still use the ability, but it's not that effective, because they'll be hitting. They'll be hit easier, and they save just as bad as everybody else.
Mm-hmm. But
so I tend to not use it that often, unless I get lucky and get 2 rares in the Saga rule, of course.
It happens from time to time, my friend.
It happens. I played a tournament like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and during one of the games I was down to, I think I generated 4 dice, and I managed to roll up to 8 with 2 rares. Still,
we've all been there.
Filth.
It always feels like it's more often the other guy than you, because of the way your memory works.
The look on the face of the guy you're playing, just like, not now.
Just happened to me last week.
Was just about to break your spine, but now you're back up.
Love it. Okay. Do you want to pop down to the next ability there?
Let's go down to one of my favorites. It's called Find Chinks in Their Armor.
Okay.
Not to be mistaken by chicks.
Yeah, find chicks.
It's a melee or shooting ability that you can use a common die or a rare die, and it gives you 4 attack dice or 6 if you use the rare one. But you also must reroll all of the attack dice that scores 6 to hit. So it's one of these strange abilities that it's worded like as an anti-armor ability.
On the surface, yes.
Yeah, but the effect of it is actually really bad if you go after high armor targets, since you have to reroll the 6s. Mm-hmm. So if you're, for example, if you're hitting or shooting at Hearthguards with an armor of 5, you really don't want to reroll those 6s. Mm-hmm. But if you shoot at an armored target with an armor of 3, then of course the 6s won't affect it that much.
Yeah.
So it's really strange to me, and this was one of the abilities that when I first started playing 2nd edition I didn't like it that much, or it was always good to get 4 attack dice, but it was when I started playing the Baltic Crusaders that it really started to shine. Mainly because I take the levies with crossbows.
Shooting, yeah. I was going to say, getting 4 shooting attack dice in one ability is good.
Or if I get the rare dice. So if I get the rare, then the 12 levies will shoot 12 crossbow bolts into something.
Nothing to sneeze at. And and then I think the crossbows play well into that. Gives you an extra laser armor. So this doesn't
if
quite.
If you manage to catch maybe Hearthguard cavalry within like 1 activation to move and then 1 activation to shoot, you will shoot 12 shots, hitting on 3s, I guess. Rerolling 6s, of course, but there should only be 2 6s, and chances are that you'll hit even with the reroll.
Get that 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
Or another 6, because I'm the second one, right? That result will stand.
Yeah. So it's really nasty. I use it almost every turn when I shoot, even for just 4 dice with a common. It's really nice. And it really turns those levies into a big threat, because you don't want to step into that threat range.
That's a huge threat. So is this the ability that gets your rare then you reference, or is there another one?
Yeah. Okay. No, almost all the time when I get 1 rare, I put it on this one. Okay. And I wouldn't say that I shoot like every turn, because the levies are quite hard to activate. I need to have the Warlord there to move them around and then play an uncommon to shoot again. But it will sit there. Even if I don't shoot, it will sit there.
So that...
Because even if I don't shoot, I can still use it in melee if I get counterattacked or anything. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point with the Warlord. If you're taking a unit of levy, you're going to get most bang for your buck on the Wheel Bay on those guys. So,
and then use this if you get you should get at least one uncommon. Use that to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually how it plays out.
Okay, cool. Well, that it's weird they chose his name because that saying is, kind of attacking a heavily armored troop. This should help you bypass the armor. You would think it's actually
really bad against
really
high armor troops.
bad against high armor. So it's just like
sometimes I've just been having these shooting duels with other levies, and you just massacre them because you hit them on twos with the crossbows.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I was up against the Norman guy or Norman army, and he moved his levies into range to shoot, and he shot one volley at me, killing like 2 or 3 levies, and I shot back with this one, killing 7, I think, in return. So it's just nasty.
Yeah, definitely can have quite a slaughter there. Yeah. That's interesting. That's a good point. Yeah, the levies are like always a problem for me because you never kill as many as you think you should, and then you kind of feel like you're just helping the other guy because you
just wasting your shots.
Yeah, wasting your dice. Gave them. Now you guys are fatigued. They still have a bunch of levy left, so it's a win for them. So interesting. Okay.
Now you'll also see, like, since I like to use this ability a lot, my levies have to be protected on each side with like a unit of 4 Great Axe Hearthguard.
Okay.
Because they will be countercharged if you stick them out there.
After one volley of this.
Shoot this one once, then your opponent will find out that he needs to go after the levies.
Yeah, mad respect. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So, cool. I will pop down to set an example with the exclamation point for emphasis.
You have to scream your opponent.
This is a melee ability. Choose 1 or 2 other units within medium of your unit. If you win this melee, each of these units get 3 bonus attack dice and 3 bonus defense dice during the next melee they participate in this turn. So this is an interesting one because it doesn't actually help your unit fighting, but you're going to get some additional buffs. So the wording on this one is such that it would affect mercenaries if you do have them in your force. So that's a nice way to bypass some of their restrictions here. So do you use this one a lot? I can see this. Sometimes you're down to just a couple guys and you want to put a fatigue on the enemy Hearthguard before you go in. So if you're going to do that anyways, this seems like a decent ability for your counterattack, but otherwise...
Yeah, I guess if you have a lot of Saga dice available, you might play this because it's quite dice heavy, because it's not an activation. You have to spend the dice after you activate to move in, and then you probably have to spend some more dice to get the attacks to win the combat. So you have to spend like an extra dice just to get this off, and then you need to have activations left for the next melees that your affected units will participate in. So I don't play this as much, and I think it's quite hard to set up because you need to be within charge range with a lot of units, and everything needs to go your way, so to speak. So I think I played this maybe 5 or 6 times, and it worked like once. When I just sent in my Warlord against some small crappy unit just to win without any support from other abilities.
There you go. You need to have a decent combat that you're going to win anyways to utilize.
I think it's tricky because it's kind of it lures you because you see those tasty bonuses, but then you have to take into consideration that you have to waste a lot of dice just to win the combat and to activate and so forth. Oh,
that's true. Yeah, so you do need to win the melee.
Yeah, first you need to win, and in order to win, you need to get the good melee abilities that we will move on to soon as well.
Okay, so that example that I gave was a bad one because a little crappy unit probably would not win combat. Against another unit. So
usually you have to send in something good that you're sure of that you will win. You can't send in something that will win like half of the time. To be pretty sure that you will. Because otherwise it's just a waste. If you lose the combat, then it won't affect anything.
So it is dice dependent. The Saga gods like to throw a monkey wrench in those plans, typically. But
I've had it. There was once when I sent in my dismounted Hearthguard with great weapons against levies. And he killed like 2 of my guys, and I killed 1 of his. So this one didn't go off. I lost a lot of Hearthguard. The next charge wasn't that likely to win since I didn't get the bonuses. So I'm not sure. I'll play it if I see a really good chance, but
not sold on it.
I'm not gonna try to set it up myself. I won't do that.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing, it is a melee ability, so you can actually use it on the other guy's turn. But but you have to win the melee.
But then he's dictating what melee is going first. So.
Yeah, so it's even tougher to use in defense. So probably wouldn't put a dice there unless nothing else is going on. So okay, interesting. Do you want to pop down to God's Judgment there?
God's Judgment. It's a melee ability again, using 2 common dice. And it says gain attack dice equal to your unit or the enemy unit's armor, whichever is higher. So that's nice. Yeah. I kind of play it when I can, when I have a lot of dice, because my army is based on Hearthguard, so most oftenly I have like armor 5. And if the enemy has a fatigue, then I can move in and remove that to raise it to 6.
Yeah. So
and get 6 attack dice again. For 2 commons.
Depends on the order there. Another kind of works against the heavy weapon guys a little bit. So they'll start with 1 less. Yeah,
it's nice that you can use whichever is higher. So even if you have a really low armor yourself, you'll still get it.
Okay, if that could be good. Your heavy weapons going against armor 6 would you get 6 dice. And they can't get any higher than 6 with a +1 to hit, so you just statistically 2 hits. Boosh.
It's nice.
Okay.
So I play it as often as I can. Of course, it's 2 dice, but it's still commons, so I'll probably use it.
Yeah, great ability. Nice. 2 abilities so far to get a nice chunk of attacks.
Yeah, we're in the next kind of bracket. We'll see how the big difference from the first edition Crusaders comes into play. Just a reminder that the first edition Crusaders had a lot of abilities that gave you rerolls to your attack dice. And they had a very few like defensive or passive abilities.
They had the speed boost too?
Yeah, they had the speed boost, of course. But there was not a lot of abilities that you had on your board for your opponent's turn. You kind of played all your own stuff in your own turn and just waited.
Just waited until your turn again,
Weathered the storm.
Okay. I'm going to pop up to Blessing of the Righteous. And this is a melee or shooting reaction. If you have a unit of Pilgrims in your warband, you cannot suffer more casualties than its armor value. Any excess losses are canceled. Otherwise, you may re-roll a number of defense dice equal to your unit's armor. So this is interesting. So is it the Pilgrim's armor or the unit's armor?
And the unit's armor, it says if you have a unit of Pilgrims in your warband, so you just need to bring a unit of Pilgrims. Then you can use this to react to melee or shooting. And your unit, whichever is affected, cannot lose more guys than their armor value. So of course, if the Pilgrims are targeted, you can only lose, 3 guys?
3.
But if your Hearthguard is affected, you can still lose 5, which is kind of a lot.
Wow, but that would definitely... But still, having this queued up would stop your opponent from...
Yeah, for Pilgrims, it's really annoying when they go go after Hearthguard or Warriors, and you can only kill 3 of them. So that's nice.
Well, one of my favorite things to do is exhaust the enemy Hearthguard and then go in and take their armor down to 2. But that play is totally negated here. So... Otherwise, you may reroll a number of defense dice equal to So it's actually the higher armor is better there.
Yeah. So this one, as I said, I don't have any Pilgrims. This one is also one of those abilities that I play a lot because it's a really nice defensive ability for my Hearthguard. It lets me reroll basically like the first ability here, but without the rare cap.
Correct. So
still, I cannot reroll more than maybe 5, but 5 is usually enough to tip combat to your favor.
No, it's just an uncommon. You could use this in shooting as well, which is very good. They cannot reduce your armor in shooting, so you're always going to get the full 4 for Mount Hearthguard and 3 for
So this is as I said, one of the big things that changed. Like Crusaders used to have a lot of rerolls to their attacks, but now instead they have a lot of rerolls to their defense dice, and some passive abilities that we'll come to later. So that's why I think they're more fun to play now, because you can still be aggressive, but you can still also like defend really well. Instead of before, when you were just like very aggressive, rerolling the attack, and then had nothing when you were defending.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
that's nice.
Great ability.
Yeah.
You want to pop down to Happy Are the Humble.
Happy Are the Humble. It's an orders activation. It costs 1 common and 1 uncommon. And it says, until the end of the turn, your pilgrims have the same melee aggressions as warriors and are no longer considered unarmed.
Here we go. Here's the money. It all makes sense.
Yeah, for those 11 teens. And if you have no pilgrims, all of your Hearthguard increase their armor by +1 and gain resilience 1 until the start of your next turn against shooting attacks.
Dang.
So that's how
it's that last little bit.
To the Baltics as well. So if we divide it up, of course, if you run pilgrims, they will become warriors, and they are no longer unarmed. So they can probably scratch down a few enemies in combat.
So armor goes up to 4, just 1 attack per guy.
And exactly.
Then that's the baseline then too for future Saga abilities.
Yeah, isn't it also that if you're unarmed, your opponent gets a +1 to their defense rolls?
+1 to the block.
So if you have this, it negates that downside. So that's nice. It's definitely something I would play if I played Pilgrims, because you could play like maybe 4 points of Pilgrims and be very aggressive.
You could,
Yeah.
It's orders only, so it's your turn. All about the attack.
It lasts until your next turn. So.
Okay. I missed that part. Until the end of the turn.
Yeah. So it's still not on the opponent's turn.
I would.
That's right.
Yeah, without referencing the little. Clarifications I would just say that's till the end of your turn.
If we take a look at the second part, which is the one I use the most, all my Hearthguards gets +1 armor and resilience against shooting. So that's one of those abilities that I also almost play every turn. Especially here, we have a lot of shooting in our meta, like a lot of Saracens and Moors and like Javelin Welsh and all that. So all of a sudden, my cavalry has an armor of 5 against shooting, and my great weapon guys have an armor of 6 against shooting. They also have resilience. So
do you use the resilience ability on them? It's kind of curious on.
Depends on the outcome of the shooting, actually. Usually, I activate this and they shoot, and if I take a lot of casualties, I will probably use the resilience. But if I take like 1, I will probably just take the guy and be fresh for the next turn instead. So it depends on how many casualties I take. But if you combine this with blessings, or even better, without fear, then you have the rerolls to your defense dice as well. So you shouldn't take that many casualties. Which is nice.
Yeah. So that one, it clears until the start of the next turn. Versus till the end of the turn.
So it works during the entire round, so to speak. Which is nice. This one you can be quite aggressive with, because you can move up your army and without fear of like getting shot to pieces. You can be aggressive with the cavalry, so it's nice.
Push them up. The buff for the Hearthguards. All right. I got Jericho, next one down.
Yeah.
This is a melee or shooting using an uncommon dice.
Yeah.
Gain 2 attack dice. Gain 2 additional attack dice if the enemy's unit's armor is higher than 4.
Yeah.
So this is the opposite of find the chinks in their armor. They should have switched the names on these, in my opinion. My opinion. This is better against high armor. So depending what you're up against here, they don't use the same die to activate, but so another you could do multiple volleys against armor 4.
Still with the crossbows, I have to do some other activation in between. You can't shoot twice. But I think this one is also one of those abilities that when you look at it, it seems kind of I won't use that very often, but when you find use for it, then it will be used a lot. For example, my dismounted warriors, when I'm defending objectives, I can close ranks, and then usually they're fighting against maybe hurt guards, so they can get back those 4 attack dice again, because they're fighting something that has higher armor.
Higher than, so it has to be higher than 4. So it's 5 to
so
start
usually
with.
it's maybe for example the baggage train scenario. When I go up and grab one of the baggages with warriors, when the counterattack comes, it usually comes from other hurt guard. You can just close ranks, lose 4 dice, but get a +1 on my defense, and then go back up to 8 with this.
Not too shabby. So the wording on crossbows, do they reduce the enemy's armor by 1, so this kind of works against them, or is it a +1 to hit? Do you know offhand?
I'm not really sure. I don't have the rulebook here now.
Okay, I do not have it in arm's reach of my battle station here. As well.
I usually don't use this for the levies, since Find Chinks has the common dice for 4 attack dice. This one is an uncommon, and to get 4, you have to be in the situation where
conditional. But
so usually it's if I only need 4 dice, the Find Chinks will probably be used more often for shooting. I tend to use this in melee a lot.
Okay.
It also goes well with the great weapon guys, because they have a +1 to hit already. So I can go after other hurt guards and still hit them on 4s, but get those 4 extra attacks.
Yeah,
so it's nice.
Good. We got a nice mix of attack and defense. So far. So if you're feeling attacky, load those up. Feeling defendy, you're good too.
Yeah.
You want to pop up to the Valiant there?
Yeah, the Valiant, it's a melee ability that can only be used on hurt guards, heroes, or pilgrims. If your unit wins this melee, it removes 1 of its fatigues at the end of combat. And if I used a rare, the enemy unit suffers an additional fatigue after the melee is resolved.
Nice.
So it's nice if you want to use the tactic that you spoke of with pilgrims, and just like exhausting people with your levies, then this will be a good ability, of course. It takes a rare or an uncommon. But,
you gotta win,
you have
too.
You gotta win, of course.
This board is for winners, not losers.
Yeah, no losers here.
No losers. This is a winner's board.
That's what the Crusades are all about. You don't go to heaven if you lose. So this one, I tend to not use that often, because I think the best use of this is when you have the rare, and my rare usually goes somewhere else. But of course, if you just want to fight out the melee and win and remove your fatigue, it's a good ability. It works on hurt guards and heroes, so that's good.
Yeah, great for the multiple activations when you want to wipe out a unit next to another unit, and then just keep the pain rolling.
Something, or just kill something and stay there and defend without being tired. In your opponent's turn. But as I said, I think the best use of this is when you have the rare, and I tend to put that on other stuff. So
with the rare, that's quite good.
Yeah, I think I played it most of the times when I play this is when I have a rare and I have to kill a warlord, and I just send something in first to put fatigue.
So the warlord's fresh. It's really tough to take him out outright. But You go in with the big unit, and this is going to make sure that he's exhausted at
Yeah.
the end, and that it's just
maybe go in with my Hearthguard first, exhaust him, and then going with my own Warlord afterwards.
or let the levies do the job.
Yeah, but the levies probably won't win against Warlord.
Wow, you shoot him down, Fred.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Hearthguards, Heroes, or Pilgrims. So, yeah, you definitely would need to combo that with the Pilgrims. Happy or the humble, everything else.
Yeah.
To get that off, but yeah, you could just throw it all behind one big mob of Pilgrims that are just gonna activate.
Yeah.
One, boom, boom, boom. Multiple combats.
If you want to win with Pilgrims, you probably use Blessings of the Righteous first, so you won't lose that many guys.
Yeah, I mean, once they're up to warrior status, they're gonna have the numbers. You got plenty of ways to do it. I mean, you could put all your dice into them.
Yeah.
And then this just keeps that going.
Yeah.
Valiant Pilgrims. So okay.
Yeah.
Uncommon, rare, could be decent. Doesn't look like there's any other way to get rid of fatigue. Although this next one down here, so I just jump down to the Peasant's Crusade. Next one, Order's ability uses a common and uncommon. If you have a unit of Pilgrims in your warband, activate all your warrior and levy units. Ooh, wow. These activations do not generate fatigue.
Yeah.
So this is a Order's ability. So this happens in the Orders phase?
Yeah, it activates in the Orders phase. It's kind of wonky.
Okay.
Because you can activate for different reasons. You can activate to charge, to move, to rest, I guess.
These activations do not generate fatigue. Okay. Yeah. Which they wouldn't because of...
No.
Well, maybe if you're going through woods or something. I don't know if that would even supersede that or not. But anyways, otherwise, remove 2 fatigues from your Warlord. Nice. And 1 from each of your Hearthguard units.
Yeah.
So that's good. We don't need Pilgrims. We don't need Pilgrims. We'll take the fatigue.
That's the Baltic Crusader way. Just super rest the entire army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's I tend to use this a lot as well.
Wow, yeah, absolutely.
Because usually by the end of the game, a lot of my units have a lot of fatigues. And if you're only going to rest 2 units, then you probably would put these dice on normal activations, I guess. Because then you can choose the dice, whatever you want. Since you can rest Hearthguards with any dice.
Maybe not. I mean, you can combo this with a rest on top of that.
Yeah, I was going
to go from exhausted to fresh with your Warlord.
Yeah, I was going for that. I've played that several times when my Warlord is defending objectives. And we have the opposite situation where my opponent tries to go in and exhaust him and then try to kill him off in a later turn. Then I would just go. I've gone from 3 fatigues to 0 a lot of times. So it's really good for that. Yeah,
that is great. Do you play your Warlord aggressive then when he's not chaperoning the levy, giving them the shots?
Usually, he's running around with the levies in the first few turns, and then in the later turns he's going after objectives or going in to kill off annoying units.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of a double-edged sword, so to speak. Or I can play him in 2 ways.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good ability.
Warlord plus the Hearthguard. So another. Having the multiple Hearthguard units, the little 4-pack there, doesn't quite as hurt you as bad for the end game with multiple unit. It's taking a lot of dice, but this helps you out here for sure.
Definitely.
Great ability. Yeah, I can see why the Valiant maybe doesn't get used when you have this. I mean, they're different situations, but just for generally moving fatigue.
Yeah. You'll see also if you want to use the Valiant, like to be fresh out of a combat, we'll go down to the last ability, which will probably be used in the same way, but in a more easy fashion.
Okay. You want to do that one?
Yeah. So the last ability is God's Host. It's an activation reaction. It says it's played with a common or an uncommon. And it says, trigger this ability after an enemy unit finishes resolving their activation. So that's a quite important part of the ability, because you remove this dice as a reaction to something, but you won't trigger the ability until after your opponent has finished his activation. So it's quite different from the Norman one when you react before their activation.
Okay.
Yeah, this is afterwards. So it continues to say, if you have Pilgrims in your warband, choose a unit of Pilgrims. Until the end of the turn, it gets 4 bonus defense dice against both melee and shooting attacks. It's a nice one, but I don't play Pilgrims. So I tend to use the latter part. It says, otherwise, choose a unit of Hearth cards and activate it to rest or move. So there we have it has some of the same results as the Valiant. If I see one of my units have been going into fight, they have fatigue, and I fear that my opponent will counterattack them. I can usually see that counterattack coming, so I can react and remove my fatigue if I need to. Of course, the opponent's unit have to be outside of charge range, so you can move first.
Correct. So if you can see that they're going to do a double move towards those guys,
or if they're going to rest first. If I wipe something out and put a fatigue on a close nearby unit and they rest first, then I activate this to rest my unit, and then he will charge, and then we'll be on the same.
Yeah, so kind of in that situation can accomplish the objective.
Yeah, that's what I said. I usually play this instead of the Valiant because it's just a common dice for the most part. And one of the big things with this is that I can also move if I don't rest. So it gives me that Norman maneuverability when I can move around my cavalry. Usually as my opponent finishes his last activation, I can just push up my cavalry to be in an easy charge range, or get off an objective, or get onto an objective, or whatever. So I cannot charge with it, but I can move as a reaction.
Yeah, good
I think it's a really fun ability, because it gives you some trickery to play with your opponent's head. And sometimes I find out that my opponent just leaves one dice on their basic activations just to fool me into thinking that they will use like the final ability just to negate my God's Host. So they usually lock down one of their dice because they see me waiting for their last activation, and then they don't activate that final unit just to cancel this.
Yeah.
So it's quite fun.
They're changing the way they play, a couple different ways potentially. So you're still accomplishing something even if you're not popping the ability. And
I guess the biggest part is that I can be outside of charge range for enemy cavalry, and then finish their turn with my cavalry being within charge range, so I don't have to double move.
Yes.
Charge.
So
that's nice.
Oh yeah, cool. Overall, nice mixability. Looked like a one-trick pony going in there, just attack and defense dice. But we have 3. So two decent for sure. One really strong fatigue ability, one good, and one not so good. But you got the options for shedding fatigue. So I think the resilience 1 from the shooting, happy are the humble. That looks a lot more desirable.
That's tasty.
You can, if you know that you can pop these later, take a fatigue or 2 or 3, because that's kind of the problem with those units with resilience is you're saving guys, but you're just completely shutting down their unit. If you go all the way, but
I agree. You can remove it with the Crusader.
So a lot of good options here for mounted Hearthguard. You're always afraid of the shooting here, but you definitely have the tools to negate that if you run up into it. I mean, it's going to take some dice, but just get in there.
Looking at the board, it's fairly straightforward. I think it has some tricks that you can play around with to mess with your opponent's plan. But I think where it really shines, or what makes it fun for me, is during the different scenarios, I tend to use different abilities. It's not like I play the same setup every time. Or it's usually like if it's a scenario when you need to be maneuverable, I tend to play a lot of the passive abilities and a lot of the reactions. And if I need to kill, I play a lot of the melee abilities or shooting. So I think that's where the board is most fun, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Levantine versus the Baltic I think they did a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like you should always choose the Levantine or necessarily always choose the Baltic. You know, it looks like if you want to play with the Pilgrims and use that mechanic,
Yeah.
you know, go for it. If you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can.
What I like with the Levantine Crusaders is that most of the abilities that affect them usually only requires you to have a unit of Pilgrims. You don't have to use the ability on the Pilgrims themselves.
Yeah.
So you could still play like Levantine Crusaders with one unit.
Yeah. So that's kind of
even though I think you should probably have more to maximize the effect, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, talked a little bit about your warbands. So mostly Hearthguards. Just one unit of warriors, you said, and one unit of
one unit of warriors on foot.
Okay.
And I mainly use them for objective games when I need to grab something or defend a position or something.
Yeah, sometimes you want some bodies.
Yeah.
And yeah, that seems good to me. Makes sense given everything that we've talked about. Have you gotten the chance to use the legendaries here at all?
No, actually not. Not in the Crusades army.
Take a look. Okay. So we got Godfrey of Bouillon here.
Yeah, the old guy.
He's a legendary warlord for the Levantine Crusaders. He costs a point, replaces your warlord. He generates 2 Saga dice. Looks like he's mounted, has all the normal warlord stuff. On top of it, he is uncommonly strong. During each melee which he faces a hero, he gets a +1 bonus to his attack dice. And he's a fearless fighter, so his charge activations are free. If he wins a combat following one of his charges, he takes no fatigue at the end of that combat. So, guy's a beast.
Yeah, I guess if you want to play with an aggressive warlord, he's your guy.
Well, with Peasants Crusade here, Shed 2 if you do take them. Yeah. There's some good attack abilities here to jack up your dice. Definitely engage the enemy warlord type fellow. And with the free chart, I mean, just do it till the job is done. You know, just keep throwing yourself in there. You don't even need, I mean, you got the +1 on your attack dice, so everything being even, you're going to be better. Yeah. We're at the point. Perhaps he generates 2 Saga dice. So
I'm not sure. I guess
you're not going to lose out there.
He's a risk as well. I mean, if you play him very aggressively, he will probably go down.
Most surely.
Yeah. So then you've spent an additional point and you lose 2 dice. I don't know. I haven't played the legendaries, so I really can't say. But I think he could be as dangerous to you as well.
Yeah, I think there's a fun factor there.
Yeah,
for you at least. Maybe not for the other guy. No. But get him in there. The other is Peter the Hermit. Yeah, and he's a legendary warlord for Levantine as well. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is there no famous Baltic Crusaders out there?
No, they left them out.
Or they all the Teutonics. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, so he's an interesting fellow.
Yeah, he's your pilgrim guy.
Yeah, so generates 1 Saga dice, armor 4. He is on a horse. He's got 4 aggression, so not the worst. He is the regular warlord stuff as far as I can tell.
Affects the pilgrims, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Warband led by Peter cannot contain any Hearthguards. Also cannot spend more points on warriors than pilgrims. Oh. Wait, there's more pages of legendary guys. Maybe there is a Baltic. Okay, so there are 2 Baltic heroes. Interesting. So they got 4. Does that carry through the entire Age of Crusades book? The number of heroes? Nope.
Actually, haven't.
It might just be these guys. Whatever.
Yeah, maybe for the armies that can choose a flavor. So
yeah.
For the,
that
the
makes
Eastern
sense. Yeah.
What do you call it? Eastern peoples. So whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The old Russian princes.
Okay. Peter's warband can recruit as many fanatical pilgrims as you like. These get the loyal special rule. So fanatical pilgrims are a unit of mercenaries, it looks like. Are those the ones where you kill them and they generate Saga dice? Are they the same as Age of Vikings? Do you know?
Aren't they listed on the page?
Let me see here. Fanatical.
Sorry, I don't have the book in front of me.
No problem.
So you have to do the reading.
Page 70. We have to do the reading here, folks.
Yeah.
Fanatical Pilgrims. Yeah, so these look to be the same as the Age of Vikings Fanatical Pilgrims mercenary unit. Yeah. So when you kill guys, you gain Saga dice.
Yeah.
So the difference here would be these guys are loyal, so you could use Saga abilities on them. I believe that's what that means. But you cannot get any other mercenary units, so you can mix in those Fanatical Pilgrims. He's got another rule of the Madden Masses. When Peter's on the table, your levy may be activated with the basic activation ability for Herkus heroes. Also, any levy unit in your warband within medium of Peter gains 2 bonus attack dice for melee and shooting. For chucking stuff. And finally, he can use bodyguards on the levies. However, you have to remove 2 guys instead of 1.
This is where he makes those pilgrims like a really annoying horde.
So I kind of...
So you probably go in the center.
He was around in Saga version 1, for sure. I remember saying. I mean, if you want to go for it, go for it. I can't see myself ever painting 72 plus Peter.
No.
The horde, that could be tough. That
could definitely see like the strength of playing such an army. But I guess just painting all those levies would take out the fun for me. I mean, I think it's quite annoying for your opponent as well to face that many levies that will probably be activated several times, and they will act as warriors during your opponent's turn and all that. So it will probably be annoying to kill off all those guys.
Even I mentioned it before. Even the shooting levy, they're still blocking on 4s against shooting 5s. So it just takes a lot of energy to wear those guys down. So definitely you would want to try to take out Peter, but he's going to be in the center. He will not be exposed at any point. So good luck. Good luck with that. Okay. All right. So we do.
The Baltic ones I haven't looked at actually. I'm not sure about.
Well, this will be news for you then. So we got the Baltic special characters. So that makes sense why they got 4 instead of 2.
Give me one of the Swedish guys now. I will play him instantly.
I don't know. We got Henry the Lion, Duke of Saxony and Bavaria. So German fella by the looks of it. He's costs 1 point. He's got the standard warlord stuff. He's wealthy. So if he commands your warband, you can recruit a unit of Western Knights for free. That is without paying any points. And it's also loyal, which is cool. So you can use your abilities on them. So the Western Knights are good. They're heavily armored, I believe. So, and they're maybe slower if they're mounted, but they still charge medium. So wow, that's good. He has more stuff besides that. So they're deployed on foot.
Sounds like cheating to play with an extra point for free.
Mounted, their armor is 5.
But then again, you pay 1 point for him, so.
So these guys they have normal armor, but they can re-roll defense dice against shooting, or they count as being a solid cover when shot at, or in melee if they're charged. And if they close ranks, they can reroll defense dice. So you can take the foot or the mounted version of them, and they count as 8. They count as 8 Hearthguards. So all your Hearthguard abilities will be very good. So marching on, Henry the Lion, he massively increased his Eastern dominions, so he can recruit as many units of Western Knights as he wish. Okay, so you get a free one, and you can take more. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. It sounds like an excuse to use different. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard you like knights.
Yeah. If you like knights, you having achieved glory, he met it in glorious end. Unfortunately, when calculating victory points at the end of the game, Henry always counts as having been killed. And if he actually does get killed, he gives your opponent 2 extra massacre points.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
just being killed, I believe, is 5 points. So,
yeah.
if you do get him killed, it doesn't really hurt you that much more. So you should probably get him killed. For fun of it. So, wow, yeah. If you like keeping your guys alive, I think you said that.
Yeah.
The Western Knights are tasty for you.
Yeah.
So this one could be quite fun. And lastly, we have Absalon, Bishop of Roskilde, Archbishop of
Danish, yeah.
Okay, sorry, Fred. Maybe next 3rd edition.
Yeah,
you got this. He's a legendary warlord. 1 point. He generates extra saga dice. Otherwise, normal stats. He's mounted. He has all the priest abilities because he is a man of God, although he is very warlike. And then he made the Danes use the raiding tactics of their Viking ancestors. So any unit in his warband can be deployed off table. And at the start of each of your activation phases, you may discard a saga die from a battle board to deploy one of these units within very short of a board edge and more than medium from the enemy. And you can't activate that unit again that turn. And the units don't generate saga dice off table. So the priest
doesn't
stuff.
Sound that good.
No, well, he generates extra saga dice. He has the priest stuff, so he's gotten really good dice utility.
Yeah.
Maybe holding 1 or 2 units off. It's going to be scenario dependent and opponent dependent.
Yeah.
Whether you would want to do that or not. So, good mix here of characters. Some better than others. Peter certainly would be a different play style.
Yeah, he's a force multiplier for sure.
Same with Henry the Lion here. So, okay, so they did mention some of the merc units they can take. If you don't have that section of your book, no need to dig in there. Have you ever taken any mercs? I think you said no.
Not for the Crusaders, actually, because I find my armor works quite well. I don't seem to miss that much of what the mercs add.
Yeah.
Played some mercenaries for my Age of Vikings army, but not for the Crusaders.
Okay. Well, there's some potential synergy there. To set an example, like we said, could be used to boost a merc, but you said there's other dice that you use for other things. Yeah. The Peasants Crusade would affect those guys if they are Hearthguard. So the Western Knights would be affected whether they are loyal or not.
Yeah.
They would benefit from the Happy or the Humble, that armor boost.
Yeah.
So some good combos with those Western Knights.
Yeah.
I think you should start painting now, buddy.
Yeah, should try them out.
Get them going. Are you?
Maybe just swap out some great weapon guys for a unit or 2. Try them out.
I think they're a good point.
Yeah.
Because they're 8 Hearthguards for a point. So
yeah.
I'm sure there's some weakness in there. They're slower, but you could definitely work those guys in. I don't think it would be that much better, but perhaps it would in certain situations.
Yeah. Usually we play here in Malmo. We usually play. We bring 7 points to our tournaments and games, and we deploy 6 of them. So you definitely bring them, even if you don't use them. I guess.
So
that would be nice.
Let's talk a little bit about the modeling opportunities out there. What are you using? Fireforge for your guys?
Currently I use all Perry miniatures.
Oh yeah.
So right now I have all the things I need, and I have a lot of extra boxes as well to swap out for extra bodies.
Okay.
So I think the Perry range is historically accurate, and they have great poses and all that.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So modeling wise.
Yeah.
Is there a distinction in the look between Baltic and Levantine Crusaders, really, or as far as you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're digging into that history nerdiness. It would depend, because here in Sweden, at least, we had Crusades to the east during different periods. So I'd say if you go for the 12th century, there would be minimal distinction in terms of equipment and looks. But then one of the kings that was famous for losing a lot of crusades against Russia, he lived during the mid 14th century. So if you go for that late period, then you probably should choose another range, because the equipment changed a lot during the later medieval period.
So, yeah.
But I guess if you go for that high medieval look, then the parries are fine. They look like standard European knightly armor.
Okay. So if you went that direction, you could just have some pilgrims on the side, and depending what you're feeling, you could run them with. If your play style suits one better than the other.
Yeah. If you go for the Baltic Crusaders, I'm very fond of Swedish history, so
naturally,
we had the laws here in Sweden that allowed peasants to have weapons, which is very different from the rest of Europe. So when you go for the Baltic Crusaders, I think you should add a lot of levies with just regular clothing, and then just spears and crossbows and all that. Because it's quite different from the rest of Europe. We had laws that permitted the peasants to own weapons.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So would they be? Expectation. They would rally and show up and would have
the
to
reason
fight.
behind it is actually because we had so few knights. The king
manpower.
he couldn't rely on the nobles, so he had to rely on the people. So
Okay.
There's also the problem with that is that we had a lot of rebellions.
Revolts.
If they didn't like the king, they just revolted.
Double-edged sword there.
Yeah, so that's what I like about the Baltics. You can just paint a lot of guys with just regular tunics and maybe a helmet, and give them a spear and a shield or a crossbow.
Okay.
And you're set.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this looks like a fun warband. Who do you have trouble against? Do the shooting warbands, can they get through, or you can shut that down?
The opposite. I've faced a lot of shooting warbands, and I think that's where my warband is pretty strong, because I have the passive buffs.
A lot of tools there, yeah.
So I played a couple of games against Vikings and the Jumps Vikings. In general, I think the Jumps Vikings are annoying as usual, because you never know what they're up to. Sometimes they have a lot of armor, sometimes they had a lot of hits. But I guess one of my worst matchups was at the top table of the last tournament, when I faced another Crusader army, the Militis Christi. Yeah,
yourself.
That was just It was the Militis Christi, so it was another warband, but they were very aggressive. So this warband really wants to dictate the combat. They don't want to take charges after charges.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because you only have that many reroll defense dice. And after you pop that, then it's free reign for your opponent.
Yeah, so if you're using lots of hearth guards, they're just inherently just a little more vulnerable to being taken out, and tricks and stuff like that. So
general rule would be if you face another aggressive warband, just make sure to don't get charged twice or 3 times in a turn.
To burn through all your abilities. And
then
that could be
send in the finishing blow.
Okay. Overall, I think this looks like a fun warband, a little mix of everything. Not too defensive, not too attacky. Got ways to get rid of fatigue. There's plastic options out there for these guys, and I think the options. You can use your Normans, as Crusaders. They were the first wave. Opportunities there for the multiple warband with these guys. So if you do have the appropriate figures, I think you need to give them a shot. So
you should.
So I think you said you did. Did you? I think you beat the Militis Christi guy. Did you win the tournament there with these?
I won the tournament with these, and it was a tough game. I had a lucky turn once when I didn't lose my unit of levies. I think that changed the outcome of the game a lot. But it was a tough game.
I mean, anybody who wins a tournament, at some point they got lucky at some point. To get through that, and if you didn't, you didn't win the turn. So
of course
that's going to happen. So cool. Are you going to keep on playing these guys in your future then, or is that going to hang them up? Or
I was actually planning to sell my Crusaders after the launch of the second edition and start a new warband. But now, after I've been playing these, instead I started thinking about just switching out units and build more of like a Swedish-themed army. Because my warband is painted as a Levantine warband, with the exception of the levies, of course. But now I'm thinking like, I should switch out my Hearth guards, and I should switch out this unit, and so I might just repaint the entire warband with different models.
All right, there you go.
See.
Okay, well, if you're interested, how can people get in touch with you if they want to make you an offer on your Levantine Crusaders?
Yeah, they can just hit me up on Facebook through the Scattered Dice Facebook page.
That's right. So you and Hamza are the Scattered Dice team.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You guys do have a YouTube channel where you post a lot of videos of your models.
Yeah.
Got a blog. And
most of the stuff end up on the blog because of time reasons. It's easier to just launch articles there.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and most of the YouTube stuff is more like oriented towards 40K and that stuff. So we're trying to keep up.
Yeah, no worries there. Good to see you guys posting. Yeah. So excellent. Well, I am looking forward to visiting you guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I've talked about it on the series here, but I will be visiting Denmark and Sweden at the end of August, early September in 2019 here. So Fred here has graciously offered up his home. I believe you were one of those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're still trying to figure out the plans here, but we're going to spend
if we manage to get like maybe a small tournament going for one day, you can just borrow the army and
that's what I was thinking. I would love to participate in something. So it looks like I was trying to get Danish Freddy to run his little farm tournament. Didn't quite work
Danish
out.
Freddy seems to be under the radar at the moment. I haven't heard about it. Heard from him for a while.
It's tough to find him. He keeps changing his Facebook name. But so that's not going to happen. But it sounds like a game night at least. Some kind of gathering, meeting all you guys would be awesome. And then if we can crash, that would be cool as well. So I'm bringing my wife. No kid. Young Dane will return to his homeland at some point, but not this go around. So we're excited. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
So it'll be fun. Very cool to meet all you guys in person, and hopefully get a game in or two and see some of the sites and everything. You provide a nice list of places my wife will enjoy. That's key. That's key here. You understand how these things work here, Fred. So thank you for that, and so just thanks in advance for your hospitality. Looking forward to it, and we'll keep in touch. Otherwise, that's going to be it for this video here. If you've been running Crusaders and disagree with Fred here on any point, just post below. If set an example is the cornerstone of your battle plan, let us know how
my heirs are all yours.
How you've been making it work. And I'd be curious if you do play, maybe post below and vote whether you play the Baltics or the Levantines. And then if you do think one is better than the other, maybe post that too and say why. Well, until then, happy. Is it Viking Day? Sweden Day? What's the official?
Oh, it's the national day.
It's just the national day. It's party time. Okay.
Celebrating the coronation of one of our medieval kings.
Okay. Good a time as any. So have fun with the rest of your day here, Fred. We'll see you next time. We'll do it again.
Yeah. Right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Saga.